Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to Therapeutic Yoga. We are on legs and feet, and this is our supine class, very relaxing class. So just take your place on the floor. You can use a carpet. You can do this on a bed. Feel very comfortable. And I think I'm just going to angle my camera down just a titch so you can see me just that much better. I can do that.
Marcus.
Oh, and I'm going to make sure that you're all
Marcus.
I'm going to make sure you're all muted. This is the other thing I have to remember to do. So you all have all sorts of things going on. Okay. All right. Here we are. So I'm going to do another start. So welcome, Therapeutic Yoga. Tonight we are doing legs and feet, and please find your spot on the floor. You guys can see me okay? You can see the whole floor space okay? Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, good, you can see all of me well? Okay, yes, okay, good.
Can't really see your right arm, Maggie.
Can't see my right arm.
Yeah. You
Okay.
tilt the camera down a little bit, we'd see more of you.
I don't
Or just move closer to the window.
We're having a lot of false starts today. I think that's it for this puppy. That's it, the way I have it angled. Okay, I will move closer to the window. Is that right? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. So settle in and we'll get started. All right. So welcome to Thursday night therapeutic yoga. This is our supine class. Find a comfortable spot on the ground. You have a wall to work with. This is a nice way to ground by feeling your feet. You can also have your feet on the ground. Some of you with lower back pain, this might feel more comfortable. Place your hands on your belly. Do a long exhale. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep this going a few more breaths. So inhale, feel your lower back moving away from the floor. Exhale, try to bring your lower back towards the floor. So see if you can feel the back body as well. And if you're ready, closing the mouth or making a humming sound as you exhale. Do this a few more times. And adding an om if you like. You can place your hands on your heart or keep your hands on your belly, your choice, or one hand on your belly and the other on your heart. And if you like, make an intention for the class, something linked to grounding or your own theme tonight for yourself. May I feel relaxed, yet secure and steady. May I feel safe. May I be pain-free. Whatever it is, just bring that in. And when you're ready, just starting to move the body. Inhale, bring your arms up to your place. I know some of you have shoulder injuries, so you might not go all the way behind you. You can add a bolster behind you if you like, or some blocks to add some height, or a big bed pillow to keep your hands higher, okay? So that's an option. Exhale, bring your arms down. Another option is bending the knees. You can also put something under your thighs if that's more comfortable. Just keep this going, waking up the breath. Inhale into the chest, then into the belly if you can. Nodding the chin in at the top of the inhale. Exhale, bring your arms down, contracting the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Keep this going. Constricting the throat, making that oceanic sound, Ujjayi pranayama. And do this in your own timing, so your breath might be a little shorter. That's no problem. Often when we start yoga, it's like that. I'm just going to let some of the use. Let's keep going. Pausing between inhale and exhale. If it's comfortable, staying in the full expression of the pose, Tadaka Mudra. You can interlock your fingers if you like, overhead, palms facing away from you, or palms together. You could have your feet together if you like, or legs together bent. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, creating that mudra, that seal of the lower locks from the pelvic floor up towards the stomach. Inhale into the chest, into the belly, maybe engaging the chin lock, tucking the chin down. Exhale, you can keep that lock or release it as you exhale. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Some of you will be able to do that chin lock here, others not. And keep this going. Inhale from the top to the bottom. And exhale from the bottom to the top. If this is too much, just do belly breathing. Just go back to the basics. If you want to add a hold after exhale. Engage those bandhas, those locks from the pelvic floor up. You can hold after exhale 2 to 5 seconds. Release the arms at any time, especially if there's any tingling. And when you're ready, release the arms down. Just rest for a moment. Let the breath come back to balance. Great. So we're going to move on. If you have a block, a yoga block or a pillow, for this class, we need to have a little pillow and a belt or a scarf. We're going to be using those props. So if we put this block between the legs, or you can use a little pillow or even a bed pillow that goes all the way to your feet is also fine. And you're just going to, as you exhale, I want you to squeeze that block. And inhale, release. So let someone in. Someone having a hard time staying in, I think. Oh. Okay, just keep that going. Okay, so just keep that going. Now try hold after exhale as you squeeze that block. Hold after exhale and pull up from the pelvic floor up towards the belly. Some of you will relax the belly because you know that that aggravates things for you. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze that block. Pull up on the pelvic floor, maybe engage into the belly. Hold after exhale. Inhale, release. Do that 2 more times. and release. We're going to keep this block as we start to lift the hips up. You're going to inhale, lift your hips nice and high while squeezing that block. Exhale, come down and keep squeezing the block. You're going to squeeze it more as you exhale. Inhale, you might release a little bit just to give yourself a break. Inhale, lift the hips up. Try to engage those glutes so that you're lifting nice and high. So lift higher than you think you can. And exhale, come down. And try not to look at me as you do this. I just looked at you, which is not a great idea for your neck. So try to just lift up and down. And just keep the eyes closed. Strengthening the back and grounding through the legs and the inner thighs and the pelvic floor. So this one's great for incontinence as well as trauma resilience. This can be very, very helpful when something unsettling has happened, either in the present or the past. Just to help us ground, connect with our root, the legs and feet. One last time. This time, if you like, staying there. Now, I'm going to remove my block. You can keep it if you like. I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to tuck my shoulders under a little bit. And as I inhale, I'm going to lift, try to lift those hips up a bit more, and exhale, come down. So using the feet, you can try this if you like. Inhale, lifting the knees up, and you keep bring them away a little bit, and then exhale, come down. It's just helping you get a bit higher. Inhale, coming up, maybe opening those knees, and exhale down. Might feel the glutes. This one's really good for the hips and the lower back and the sacrum. Some of you have some SI stuff going on. Exhale. Just strengthening the back one more time. And strengthening those feet. Release. And you might be feeling your back muscles now. Just relax for a minute. It's our counter pose. We're going to bring the knees to the chest and then the legs to the sky. Some of you might feel more comfortable because of some discomfort in your backs to put a block underneath your lower back as high as your waist. That's your choice. Otherwise, just the back on the floor. You're going to exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Inhale, legs to the sky, arms overhead to the floor behind you or anywhere that's comfortable. Could be just to the sky, for example. Exhale, knees to your chest. So this is the simple version. Even simpler is one leg at a time. For example, and harder, it feels too easy. As you exhale, you can bring those toes to the ground. At the end of the exhale, draw your knees in, using the hands on the knees or not. Inhale, extend, lengthen. Exhale, touch those toes to an imaginary lake at your feet, and then draw everything in using your core, using your mula, your root, pelvic floor. Inhale up. Exhale, rooting down from the lower back, going into the floor. Feel the pelvic floor engage all the way up to the belly button. This again is great for the lower back, for the legs, and strengthening for those core muscles that stabilize everything. Trying to breathe long, smooth breaths. And just finishing up, take a break, stretch your legs long if that's comfortable, or keep them bent. Just take a break. And I always take a break until my breath goes back to even, just an even natural breath. And then I know I'm ready to move on. It's finding that homeostasis in your body. If your feet are at the wall, you can assess maybe if one leg is longer than the other, it'll feel like that foot is on the wall more than the other. So just kind of assess that. You can also look at your feet, see if your feet are off to the side. So mine tend to do that because of my scoliosis. And that also affects the length of one of my legs. So just good to see how things are going with your alignment. You can correct some of those imbalances that lead to other problems. And when you're ready, bending your knees, and you can have your arms at the side. You're going to inhale here, and you're going to exhale, bring your knees to one side, inhale center, and then exhale knees to the other side. Just a nice windshield wiper side to side. And some of you might feel this in your knees because of some tightness in the thighs, and that can affect how the knees feel. So if you have tight thighs, just feeling that and trying to bring that knee down, that inner knee down until you feel that nice stretch through the thigh. And at some point, when you feel ready, you can stay on one side and breathe. And if you want to get a little bit more into the thigh, you could, so my knees are to the left, you could bring that right foot a little bit closer to you. Just be careful and just see if you can get a bit more into that thigh without hurting yourself. So be careful. So don't overdo it because you can hurt your knee, but maybe you can bring that foot, that right foot, this is your outer foot, a little bit closer to your buttocks so that you can feel your thigh a bit more. This is moving towards Ekapada Virasana, if you know what that means. I'm just saying it for those of you who know the Sanskrit names. And if you want to take that up a notch further, I know some of you are a little bit more advanced in the class. I'm just going to show you can bring your foot back. Be careful. This is pretty strong. And I have to say it's much nicer doing this one with a yoga mat. So like, I think I would have liked my yoga mat tonight. I love the feeling of my floor, but feel free to pad yourselves. Being on a rug or a carpet is also really wonderful for this particular class. And just feel that stretch in the thigh in any way that you can for your body. It might just be regular windshield wiper. Breathe here. You can adjust the arms if you like, moving more towards that Ekapada Virasana. You can bring the other leg up. And then we're really in the full pose. So these are all variations. I almost find the leg down and open more intense because it gives more of a stretch to the other thigh. So I prefer generally doing it this way, but you can also put a hand under the hip of the knee that's up. So play with that, and that should intensify the stretch on the other side. And just switching sides. So step one, just windshield wiper, your knees to one side, your feet to the other.
And see if you can feel a thigh stretch on that outer thigh. My knees are to the right, so I'm focusing on that left thigh, which we didn't do our last class. I just wanted to get into that a bit more. And then you can bring, if you want, that heel closer to your buttocks. And just see that left heel, if you bring it a little bit closer, even an inch, you might be able to feel your thigh a bit more. And then some of you can bring that foot all the way beside your buttocks, foot pointed. That's quite intense. I created this for myself as post biking. I did a big ride on Sunday and I'm like, oh, I should have done this stretch that day because I can feel it today. So I usually do this one after I do a big cycle for those of you who are cyclists. So I often say with yoga therapy, it's for everyone from aging athletes to those with disabilities or accessibility issues. It's for everyone. And of course, chronic conditions that we try to manage through yoga, at minimum through regulating the nervous system, which has also wonderful effects on the body as well. When you're ready, you're going to release that stretch and we're going to stretch the legs again because you probably need it now. We're just going to take our belt. If you don't have the belt, you can hold behind the legs, but having a belt is nice, or you can use the scarf if you don't have a belt or a towel or even a TerraBand. If you've got a physio band, that can work as well, whatever works for you. I'm putting the belt on the balls of my feet. And I'm trying to stretch my toes towards my nose. So if your hamstrings are tighter, you can bring your feet further away from you. And at some point, your lower back might not like that very much. So you can come closer to the wall and have your feet at the wall and press your feet into the wall and pull up on your thighs and get a stretch that way for those of you who can't bring your feet up towards the sky. This one is, it's got a couple of names. Supta Padangustasana is usually this version when we're holding the feet. If we're not holding the feet, it's Urdhva Prasrutapadasana. Just in case you're working on those Sanskrit words, I'm just going to give you that. We're going to go to one side at a time, Ekapada. So one foot could be at the wall or on the ground bent, or if you can, stretch the leg long and the other leg to the sky. Now, if you've got any tendonitis in your arms or your hands or anything, just be sure you're not aggravating that by holding. So try to find a different way to hold. So you could hold, for example, with your palms together. One of my students from LA taught me this, is the palms together and the belt on the forearms. So just finding some variation that is not aggravating another problem if you have it. Okay. Let's just move this a little bit. Inhale, point the foot, exhale, flex your legs at the wall. You can press into the wall with your heel as you inhale for about 10 seconds and then try to bring that leg towards you just a little bit. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. If you feel ready, just stay in the pose and stretch that leg. Just because we have some SI joint stuff going on to the room, we're going to bring that foot over. So this is my left foot, and I'm bringing over towards the right a little bit. This is for the SI joint. So hopefully it feels good. It's also for the IT band, for the runners in the room or walkers. And try to press that hip down towards the ground. Just notice where you feel it. I feel it all in my IT band. Some of you might feel it in the SI. One of my students about 10 years ago, she begged me to press on her foot in this pose to release her SI. So if you have someone around, they can do that for you. You can also keep it moving back and forth if it's too much for you. And we're going to switch legs. So whatever you did on the other side, if you're working at the wall, as I showed on the other side, do the same. I'm going to keep with my version I'm showing here. Also, this lower leg can be bent. It can be at the wall, or it can be straight with your foot at the wall, which will help you get more length. So we're stretching the hamstrings, the calves, and into the feet even with this pose. Inhale, point the toes away. Exhale, flex the toes towards your nose. And just see how that feels. You might decide that that's your pose tonight. And you might decide you want to stay. Breathe. Try to keep that hip coming down. Again, adjust your hands so you're not aggravating your arms or your hands if you've got any issues there. This also can be just very soothing, just letting go of that gripping and just relaxing into it by putting your hands in prayer position. I think during this time of COVID, there's been a lot more talk about grounding and resilience. I'm going to bring the foot over to the side now. So this is my right foot. I'm bringing it towards the windows to the left, and I'm trying to ground that right hip to the ground, getting into that IT band, maybe into the SI joint on that side. And if it's too much, you can keep it moving. Inhale, open, exhale, cross. So that will make it less intense, that movement. Your other arm can be at the side shoulder height for balance, or just stay in the pose. And if you have someone around, they could put a little pressure on that foot and draw the hip down towards the ground. If you have a yoga assistant with you, some of you with grandkids, that's a great job for the grandkids. And see if you can lengthen your breath, at least the exhale. When you're ready, both legs into the belt, if you can. Just stay here, a semi-inversion. And when you're ready, release. Time flies when you're having fun. Just relax for a minute. All right, so we did some of this last time, I believe. We're going to work with the legs, but also with the core, which is part of our theme. So you're going to inhale, bring your arms up, and you're going to exhale, bring one leg up. Now, if you can't do this with the leg straight on the other side, moving my right leg, I'm going to bend that left leg and do it that way. Inhale, extend the leg down and extend the other if you can. And exhale, bring the other leg up. And again, you can bend that opposite leg and just add it to the sequence. Inhale, extend, and extend both legs. Coordination might take you a minute. Exhale, leg up, especially if you're bending that other knee. Be a little tricky. Inhale, extend. Now I'm going to add some pointing and flexing of feet. Exhale, bringing your other leg up and bending the opposite if you like. Inhale. Okay, we're going to add on. Hopefully you've got that. Exhale, bringing that leg up. I'm going to show it with the opposite leg bending just so you can get that. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Okay, now add on if you want both legs. Exhale. This time we're going to bend both legs. Inhale, bring your legs up to the sky. Exhale, bringing your feet down, touching your toes on the ground. Inhale, extend the legs, bring the arms up. And you can keep those arms moving if you like as well. Exhale, draw everything in using your core. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, touching down. Inhale, release. Keep that going. Do this with one leg at a time if it's too much. So I'm going to show it with one leg at a time. So exhale, you just draw one leg in. Inhale up, that other leg can be bent as well. Inhale down. Exhale, extend. Or you do this with both legs. Now, if you can try just bringing one leg up at a time, up and down. So for some of you, this can be too much. So just keep one of the other versions going. So simple variation is you bend one leg and you just lift the other up and down, and then you switch sides. Okay? Try to use your core as you're moving that leg up and down. Or you can go side to side, which is getting closer to the full pose, Urdhva Prasarita, this Ekapada version. Classically, this is done with both legs. Some of you can try that. I've been working on that again this past year. It's been fun. I'll show you. I think I've got it. So this is a classical pose that's used to get into shoulder stand. Now, I don't do full shoulder stand anymore, but I still do this pose, which gives you an inversion effect. However, that's pretty tough. So I think the one-legged version is safer for most of us. Okay, bring your legs to the sky. And from here, I want you to see if you can bring one leg down a little bit or a lot, and then bring it up. Now, if this is too much, just bring the foot down, bending the knee, and bring it up. And if it's too much having the legs straight, you can have them bent and just touch down. Then it starts to look a little bit more like Pilates. So the full yoga pose is not Pilates. This is the pose, Urdhva Prasarita, and then one leg moves down and then up. And this is all preparation for the full pose with both legs. Okay, so pick your variation. Should be feeling your core working about now. It's the strength part of our class. Hopefully it's going to help some of you with your lower back as well. Your knees, working with tracking of those knees. And just finishing up. And you might notice your hip flexors are getting tight doing that, which for me always reminds me I didn't use my core totally, I was using my hip flexors. So just a counter pose, just bring the knees side to side, just to release those hips, because they might have gotten tight while you tried to activate your core. Do it with the breath, inhale center, exhale side. It's also nice for the lower back, usually side joints, getting mobilized. And you can keep that going, or if you want, I'm going to try to get into the lower back just a bit more, those SI joints. So I'm going to put a block underneath my lower back. Block doesn't go any higher than my waist. You can use a pillow. I'm going to cross one leg over the other. This is for the lower back, and also we're getting now into the hips, which is our theme next week. So here we go, just hinting towards there. Now I'm going to bring my knees towards my chest. And if I hold the opposite legs with my hands, just notice how that feels in the lower back. You might prefer this without the block or the pillow. You can see what feels better for you. For me, it really depends on the day. Some of you might be able to hold opposite feet. Might feel this in the outsides of your hips. It's a little bit like a supine Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Doing it in a supine way. I think the kids out there, they call it whale pose, because I think it looks like the tail of whale. I think that's why they call it that. So that's what I've heard. I've gone to group classes out there in the world. Try the other side. And just one side might be different than the other. Got any lower back or hip tightness. Might be getting into it now. So I know a few of you have got some lower back stuff going on, so we're just hinting into that. And just release. Knees to your chest. Hug your knees, asanas. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, knees towards you. Hold after exhale. And I really encourage you to do this without the hands so that you're using your mula, your root from the pelvic floor up. Hold after exhale. Inhale, knees away. Exhale, knees towards you. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Hold after exhale. Inhale, knees away. Keep this going. The squeeze from the pelvic floor up to the belly button. Draw everything in and up and hold. If this is aggravating your hip flexors, you can try wider legs and holding those knees for support, okay? If your hip flexors are tightening, that can happen in this pose. So this is a variation, just like in child's pose, when we widen the knees, we can do that with this pose as well. Widen those knees, and that will affect the lower back and the angle of how the legs are influencing the back. And just finishing up, moving into our closing Shavasana. So I'm going to do a short rest. I'm putting a block under my thighs. You can also feel free to put your feet at the wall. You can bend your legs. Have a bolster under the thighs. So have a look at your alignment. Feel free to cover yourselves with a blanket so that you don't get cold. When you're ready, start to increase the length of the breath, or you can choose to stay here longer. Bringing one knee at a time towards the chest, both knees in, roll to one side. Put An arm under your ear if you like.
Coming up to the seated position. Close. Just notice how you feel. Giving yourself the opportunity to move your body with your breath mindfully. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Hari ki Om. Namaste. Namaskaram.